The Gospel of Gold by G.S. Lewis. The mayor brought Gold straight to Azalea Gym, a greenhouse with a dome glass ceiling and a miniature forest within. Beedrill took vanguard position ahead, and Butterfree followed Gold closely behind, as if to make sure he didn't deviate from his path. A few people gave the mayor nods of greeting, and Gold looks of curiosity, but Bugsy made his way straight for a box-shaped room without a word. Gold guessed it was his personal office, for within sat a mahogany desk, a computer, and walls covered in research notes. Upon closer inspection, Gold saw that they were being held on by sticky webbing. The mayor fell into his armchair and pointed over Gold's shoulder. "Close the door." Gold turned, just in time to see Butterfree shut it. She and Beedrill would probably stand sentinel outside until the mayor released him. Despite feeling like he was in the principal's office, Gold was otherwise not daunted. The mayor pointed to the chair across his desk. "Have a seat." Gold moved to sit, then noticed a Caterpie lying in the chair. It seemed to have been sleeping, but upon hearing the noise of the mayor's entry, it had slowly roused itself. Gold waited for it to crawl away, but all the worm did was roll over sluggishly. Not knowing what else to do, he reached down, picked the Caterpie up in his hands, and sat with it in his lap. The Pokémon didn't seem bothered in the least. The mayor, who had momentarily been distracted by something on his computer screen, looked back at him and witnessed the sight with apparent surprise. He looked down, tilted his head, and murmured, "Huh." Then, shrugging, he looked Gold in the eyes. "I am Bugsy, gym leader and recently appointed mayor of Azalea Town," he stated matter-of-factly. "But you heard that already." He leaned forward a little, scrutinizing Gold more closely. "You, on the other hand, who are you? Where did you come from?" "Ecruteak City," Gold responded. "And I go by Gold." "Gold who?" "Just Gold." The mayor gave him another scrutinizing look and checked his computer. After a minute, he looked back, his eyes narrowing once more. "There is no person by the name of Gold from Ecruteak City on record, let alone among the registered league trainers," he said crisply. "Either cut the crap and tell me who you really are, or give me some kind of identifying information in print." Gold shook his head. "I've got a single berry seed remaining in my pocket, and a walking stick that I left back there. Everything else I had, I lost at sea." The mayor's eyebrows went up. "Come again?" "Well, at the port of Cherry Grove City—" "Never mind." The mayor waved a hand up to silence him, and Gold stopped. Bugsy slumped forward on the table, resting his face in his hands. "You're a teller of stories," he grumbled through his palms in an exasperated voice. "That much I heard already. I guess I just verified it. Arceus almighty, this is why I should have stuck to bugs." Gold gave a snort of laughter, causing the mayor to look up sharply at him. "Arceus almighty?" Gold repeated. "Are you praying to a Pokémon?" The mayor gave him a wry smile. "Don't you?" he returned. Gold thought about it for a moment. "No," he stated. "She's more of a spirit animal." He met the mayor eye for eye. Despite his status, he was barely a man, probably the youngest mayor ever elected in Johto. They were not much different in age, and certainly no different in height. In fact, Gold would certainly overtake the mayor in a year. As he had noted before, the guy had purple hair, and he had clothed himself in a Boy Scout uniform with short shorts. Gold was finding it increasingly difficult to take him seriously. "Remember, a voice in his mind whispered. He's an eternal soul, too. Treat him like one. Feeling a little reprimanded, Gold got a hold of himself. What else do you know about me? He asked. It's basically all hearsay and no real knowledge, admitted the mayor, folding his hands. So let's just talk about why you're here already. It's my understanding that, earlier today, you talked one of the local league trainers out of his Pokédex and badge case. Is that true? Yes, said Gold. Why? Pressed the mayor. Gold looked at him, momentarily dumbfounded. You have to ask? He finally managed. Wasn't it your Scyther that did the dismembering? It was, confirmed the mayor unblinkingly. The Johto League rules have changed in accordance with the demand of the times. They boil down to 3 words. No holding back. Every gym match is recorded on camera to assure that all leaders go full throttle in all their matches. There is no more room for amateur mistakes. Gold gripped the arms of his chair savagely, fighting the flare of temper that had risen in him. The mayor had spoken so callously that he could hardly stand it. Well, gym leader Bugsy, Gold snapped, biting off every word as it came out. The Johto League and all its enablers ought to be ashamed of themselves. I may be young, but I know that there never used to be the level of maiming and killing in Pokemon battles that there is now. You've become extreme and dangerous, and that's why I'm against you. The mayor's eyebrows lifted with surprise, and he looked at Gold appraisingly. Listen to you, he murmured, almost to himself. Rather articulate for someone your age. He sighed, and it was a heavy, exhausted sound. Okay, look, I get it, he said, sliding his hand back on his forehead. Whenever the bar is raised, it always takes some time and getting used to. Eventually, trainers will realize that when they go up against a Pokemon with scythes for claws, they should use rock types to counter it, or steel types. Or, anything that can't just cut itself on safety scissors. He gave Gold a look of long suffering. Eventually. We all adapt eventually. You know what I think your problem is? You've probably been hanging around the crowd that couldn't handle it. But by the time you get to Ecruteak, wild Pokemon encounters become fierce. The trainers still to come are originally from cities even further along in the journey, and that makes them more competent generally. The mayor spread his hands. How about this? He offered. Stick around and observe one of my battles. I've accepted a challenge from your friend Jinichi to take place here in less than a half hour from now. So, despite what he's heard, Jinichi's still set on his league conquest, thought Gold with disappointment. He crossed his arms. I'm not interested in watching any more gym matches. Seeing Faulkner work was educational enough. You saw Faulkner dish out punishment, countered the mayor. But this will be an actual match. Jinichi told me straight up that he had an Onix he intended to use against me. Apparently, he already knew that I owned a Scyther, and he wanted to play fair. Full disclosure. That shows both confidence and competence, and properly reflects the League's vision for competitors. Gold stood from his chair, laying the sleepy Caterpie back down in the seat. I've got to hand it to you, Mr. Mayor, he said coldly. You talk a lot smarter in private than in public. I'm convinced that you believe the words coming out of your own mouth, and that makes you useful to your masters. Where are you going? The mayor asked coolly. Sit down. We're not done here yet. I am, Gold retorted. It's too late to win me over to your side. All of your good intentions are paving a beautiful road straight to hell. You're free to be willfully ignorant, the mayor rebuked sternly. But this meeting was not purposed to offer you another perspective. He sat straighter in his computer chair. I am ordering you, as mayor, to cease and desist all further efforts to talk trainers out of their league challenges. Gold stiffened. The mayor's demand did not daunt him, but he was curious all the same. Or what? He asked. You'll keep me locked in here, or somewhere else with bugs guarding the door? No, but I will have you escorted out of town, said the mayor. I'm leaving tomorrow. And then I'll report you to League HQ. Believe me, you do not want to get on their bad side. Gold couldn't help himself. He chuckled aloud at the last threat, and the mayor's face flushed. It's no laughing matter. Oh, I know. Gold took a moment to master himself again. I know a thing or two about having enemies in high places now. You don't frighten me. Do what you have to do. He jabbed his thumb at the door. Can I go, please? The mayor gave an annoyed huff, but flicked his wrist. Go on, get out of here.